What up?
What's going on?
All right, I'm doing good. I'm doing good, man. How about yourself, bro?
Man, just another day off the calendar and another episode. Get ready to go down in history yet again.
Oh
The,
yeah,
the
I got you.
yeah, there's been a lot of hot stuff going on, and I think we've been doing a good job trying to keep pace with everything that's in the media. There's a lot of stuff
Yep.
we have, man, in between the times that we get on here and run our mouths, man. But for those of you who are unfamiliar and it's your first time here, welcome. This is Beyond the Algorithm, and I'm your host, Victor Vincian, with Accountable Masculinity, and my partner in crime, and with nothing but the sublime truth, my boy, Big Show.
Y'all already know what it is, man. Big Cav show. Big Cav on the mic. I am ready to talk about the subject matter that you have up here, man. Let's do it.
Yeah, man. Hold on, let me go ahead and give us our own flowers real quick. Hang on.
I don't know what's going on with that sound effect, but you losing your mic every time you use that thing.
Yeah, man, I'm still trying to perfect this thing, man. You know what I'm saying? But you got new toys, man. You got to learn how to use your equipment, and no other way to do it but to do it.
Yeah, get up on your mic too, because it's your mic dropping you a little bit.
Hang on a second. All right. Yeah, let me turn my mic up a little bit. What about now? We good?
All right, you sound good now. You good now. You good now. Yeah, you
Okay,
definitely good now. So yeah. So man, we wanted to return back to the subject of the DC takeover by Donald J. Trump. Him actually bringing more law enforcement into the DC area. And what I have this titled on my side, I don't know what you have it titled on your side, is Muriel Bowser thanks, is thankful for that surge in law enforcement. I won't say that she thanked Donald Trump personally, because she did not do that. But she did thank the fact that, like I said, she had this surge of law enforcement that came into her city. And I know that they went, I want to say about 13, 14 days straight without any gun violence, anything like that. I think the other day, I want to say about 2 days ago, they had some shootings, but I don't think anybody died. So I think it's still probably 20 some odd days into this, maybe, without any type of anybody getting killed, pretty much. So we have to look at that, and we have to look at that in a positive manner and say, okay, are there things that we're concerned about, or that we were concerned about when it came to DC, and what we're seeing with this surge in law enforcement? We were all concerned about the over-policing of the neighborhood, and we were concerned about how these people would react to that over-policing of the neighborhood. And actually, it ended up pretty good. We haven't had a whole lot of backlash from that or anything like that, which is a positive and a negative. So it's a positive because it's going the right direction. Muriel Bowser is able to take DCPD and intertwine DCPD with the extra surge in law enforcement, and it's working out. It's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. The people of DC, a lot of people in DC, which I'll bring up a video later, but a lot of people in DC are very much appreciative of what's going on. However, if you're a Democrat and you're seeing this and you hear Muriel Bowser say that, the Democrats gave her hell because she said that. You know what I'm saying? Actually, go ahead and share the screen for me, because I want the people to see this video right here of her actually saying that, because at the end of the day, it's definitely something that, like I said, I don't like for people to just hear it come out of my mouth. I want people to hear it come out of her mouth. You know what I'm saying? All right. Yeah. Go ahead, get this kicked off.
Here we go. Oh, okay. That's a good sound when you got ads, man.
Hold on, real quick. Right. I don't know why you have your stuff still up right here, but hold on. I'm gonna do this again. So we're gonna share this screen, and
you been kill my
this should pop up. Yeah, you need to kill whatever's on that. Yeah. So go ahead and share the screen. There we go. Now you on to something.
This period, this 20-day period of this federal surge, and last year, represents a 87% reduction in carjackings in Washington, D.C.
Trust that's been broken because some of the lines are being blurred when people on the street see.
I want to say that I have been personally engaged with Attorney General Bondi and the President's Chief of Staff, Susie Wiles, and I spoke with the President this afternoon. And I was reminded of our first meeting after his re-election, where we discussed shared priorities for the district. There, I was reminded that the President's interest in cities predates his time in office, and his knowledge of DC had significantly increased from the first time he was in the White House.
To have joint task force staffing at certain metro stations as relates to where school areas are.
We will be supportive of the President's $2 billion request to improve infrastructure, especially federal infrastructure in the district.
Prior days that he may look at a national emergency to keep the surge going, and then recently said that he doesn't think that is necessary.
This sometimes people are surprised when I make this statement, but it is a fact. We have a relatively small encampment problem in DC. It, however, is highly visible.
Do you think this is going to end after 30 days? And if it has been successful?
So this week, I think Thursday or Friday, we are going to do another census count of unsheltered people in DC. That will give us an accounting of if any tents remain, where those tents are, the number of residents living there, and the number of people who may not be in tents but are still on the street. We want to know where they are.
So she got into talking about the homeless and everything, and that right there, everything is being taken care of. If you want to go ahead and bring us back in, and that right there, like I said, is kind of like a telltale, admission. Okay, this is working. It's working at the end of the day. So she's definitely very much appreciative of what's going on in DC right now. So it's trouble for the Democrats on this, because at the end of the day, when Trump starts eyeing Chicago, when he starts eyeing Memphis, Tennessee, when he starts eyeing, places like that, it's going to be like, okay, how do you say no to that point? Now, he can't do it like he did in DC. DC, he has all the rights to do that in DC. Anywhere else, it's against the Constitution to do that. He can't just bring the National Guard in and just say, okay, we're going to bring the National Guard in here to pretty much bring down crime. So it's unconstitutional for him to do that. So we really don't have to worry about him going into Chicago or anything like that. But it does look bad on a Mayor Brandon Johnson for him to say, yeah, we don't want the help. Although his Democratic co-partner here is saying that I'm actually appreciative of the help. I'm good with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's bringing in more forces. He's bringing in the surge of forces, and it's taking care of a whole lot of issues. So from my understanding, I want to say that it's been over 2,000 arrests so far. I want to say 300 and some odd illegal firearms confiscated. Also, now this is the big part right here, what people didn't see, and I think it's kind of like a strategy with Tom Homan, is the fact that you're seeing a whole lot of illegal migrants getting rounded up too, unfortunately. So I think that was a strategy by Tom Homan to say, hey, this is a good way to get ICE up in here. You know what I'm saying? So it's doing a whole lot of things for him. And then, as you heard her say, the $2 billion that Donald Trump wants to give DC for kind of like a beautification project, right? I want to get rid of the graffiti. I want to get rid of some of these older looking buildings and beautify those. So he's trying to make the city of DC look good as well. So, of course, as a mayor, you're going to say yes to that. Who's going to say no to $2 billion, right? You're going to say yes to $2 billion.
Right.
Yeah.
and then I'm always focused on, well, what do the people on the ground say? So I'm going to play this video real quick.
Go ahead, do you think?
You not understand that this is what the residents want. I'm not talking about the bougie upper echelons, bougie blacks. I'm talking about the everyday everyday grandmas that have to deal with these homeless people peeing and pooping on their steps, and then they have to clean it up. They don't feel safe when they walk into their neighborhood. The gangs and the dope boys are just standing around the corner, you know, like, do you not understand this is what they want? I remember working with a community leader, and somebody had just gotten shot. This is like 5 years ago. And I remember her praying, and she said, Crystal, we're going to have to invoke the National Guard. And that was so foreign to me. Now I understand the shit. These people are helpless. And I'm not talking about the bougie black people that live in their gated communities with their new bills. I'm talking about the everyday grandmothers. And I'm so glad that President Trump cares about them.
And I don't know if it's a President Trump cares about them type thing. I think this is kind of like a flex of power. I think that might be what that is, you know, just to show you what he can do or what a president can do. And that's the thing that I was talking to my boy Tim about last night. He was inboxing me in my messenger, and we were talking about that. I said, you know, here's the trouble with this whole President Trump thing. And this is what he has proven to black people when it comes to us in being that we are the heaviest voters when it comes to Democrats. You know, we vote anywhere between 88% and 92% Democrats. Now we kind of have them in a checkmate. Now it's you do as I say, and we don't want to hear any fucking excuses because we have seen what a president can do. We have seen what a president can do with the House and Senate. Now, mind you, that's the key word, House and Senate. So if you're the president and you have the House and Senate, we have seen what the possibilities are. So at the end of the day, for black people, we're like, okay, at this point, you need to start cutting some checks on board to even out this playing field. You know what I'm saying? And so now there's no excuse. There's no, well, Democrats can't do that and Democrats can't do this. Shut the fuck up. We don't want to hear that no more. Because this man, being that he is not a politician, he don't play by the rules. He has shown you exactly what is possible. So now that's a checkmate on the Democrats right there. This is bad for the Democrats, to be honest with you. Really bad for the Democrats. Bring up Jordan Bell and what he said about this on the comment right here. I do want to read this right here because this right here, he's actually saying something that imagine if the FOI was funded to stop crime in our communities.
Man.
Through the Islam. Yeah, and the thing is that Jordan Bell knows that you know, the Nation of Islam was actually trying to stop crime in D.C. back in the day. He was actually trying to stop. They was actually trying to stop crime back in the day, but were stopped in doing so. So it was kind of like a self-policing type thing. They were doing the same thing in Chicago. So Jordan's correct. I mean, if you would fund something like that, but of course Jordan knows they're not going to fund something like that because, I mean, it's the FOI, it's the Nation of Islam. So they kind of looked at as a terrorist organization by the United States, you know, so he knows it's not going to happen. But that would be wonderful if they could do that.
Yep. And then the other thing too, when you bring up the Democrats, and one of the talking points that a lot of the conservatives used to have all the time was that the Democrats are bringing in people that are not residents protesting and speaking on what's going on, and they don't leave. So I went and found a video.
All right.
Yes.
So it's the fourth most dangerous in the country when it comes to homicide.
Is it the number of homicides per 100,000 people?
Yeah, so it has 27 homicides per 100,000 people. That's the homicide rate, and that's fourth worst in the country.
Okay.
That's according to the Rochester Institute of Technology's own data, like their public safety data for 2024.
Okay.
So do you still think it's safe?
Honestly, I feel very safe here.
Do you think that Trump's plan is going to work to make it even safer?
I don't believe so. Who are we making the city safer for? Who are we making the district safer for? Because if we're disappearing people, then it's not making it safer.
Make it safer for people walking down the street that are right now getting robbed or carjacked or murdered.
And so the National Guard is going to find the people who are carjacking people and robbing them. And what are they going to do with that?
Arrest them.
Then what are the police for?
Well, they need help, obviously, because they're not, you know, it's the fourth most dangerous city in the country. So seems like maybe they need a little help.
If the crime rates are going down, then why do we need to bring in the National Guard when we have the D.C. Police Department?
Well, that's kind of a relative measure, right? So if the crime rates were astronomically high before, which they were, and they've come down a little bit, it doesn't really say for the overall picture. You know what I mean? It's still an extremely dangerous city.
Makes sense. And there was a Republican spokesman that said that most of the people who were protesting were a bunch of old white hippies. Is what he said. Now, this individual right here doesn't look too old, but they are definitely people that are far removed from those neighborhoods being affected by this rampant crime. Because I read some stories talking about 3-year-olds getting shot in drive-bys and stuff, like 2 of them, in less than 3 months' time. So at the end of the day, yes, at the end of the day, something has to happen. Something has to occur to slow this down. Now, in Chicago, it's going to be harder for Donald Trump to get in that area. However, over the Labor Day weekend, I think did you see the shootings that happened in Chicago over the Labor Day weekend?
I think it was the number I saw was like 58 or something like that.
57. So it's 57, and I want to say 8 of them got killed. Over 2 weeks' time, it was 75. 20 of them were killed. So we're talking about 2 weeks' time. That's crazy. That's insane. Jessica Lynn Fraser, what did she say right there? Jessica Lynn said the
mayor doesn't want
it. Okay. Well, the mayor of Chicago doesn't want it. We just talked about Muriel Bowser, which is the mayor of D.C. She definitely is okay with the surge in law enforcement. Now, Chicago, on the other hand, Brandon Johnson is on a different level of something right now. And I'm not exactly sure if he's scared of the fact if they do let law enforcement come in there and help him with this problem, that something is going to get exposed on his side. Because from my understanding, Chicago is almost $1 billion in discrepancy for their budget. They're $1 billion over budget. And that all came from the illegal migrant situation. So, I mean, it could be something in that area. I'm not exactly sure. I don't want to say that that's fact. And I just want to make sure that you guys don't know that I'm saying that you guys aren't thinking that I'm saying that's fact. What I'm saying is that if I had to guess, then they know that law enforcement would be coming in there and they would be looking over things and some things would be exposed there. So I'm guessing that's what it is.
Yeah, because recently they were doing an audit at the Mexican at a Mexican bank in Mexico. And it had something to do with U.S. interests tracing money and trying to figure out who's financing what when it comes down to illegals coming over, certain financial money laundering and stuff taking place. So
absolutely,
if they're getting into another country's banking system based on probably a financial international financial commerce laws, they definitely gonna, if they pull up in another city, they're gonna audit everything. They're not just gonna audit the crime and everything. So because they're gonna have to find a way to justify it, when they get ready to audit and find out, say, hey, you think it's illegal, that's cool, but what poor practices of governance necessitated the need for the National Guard to be there in the first place?
There you go.
Why can't you take care of your own city? Why can't you do this and why can't you do that? It's a oversight, The federal government may be in a compromising position to some folks, but what I recognize, and I think about this, when Trump was elected in 2016, then they said with the Russian interference, they did all of these audits. They brought in James Comey, put together a special staff to try to audit, some legitimacy in office. They didn't even get to that situation damn near 8 years after, he was in office. Like Comey didn't find anything. They didn't find anything that they can really hang on his head. And they called it a witch hunt from the get-go. And it was witch hunt. It doesn't even really matter at this point what they think is illegal and stuff. I don't think they could do anything to stop it if he decides to do it. He'd rather, ask for forgiveness than permission. And the commander,
he can't do it. He can't do it. Like I said, it's unconstitutional.
I know it's unconstitutional. I know he can't do it, but this again is on a list of a bunch of things that have been deemed to be unconstitutional by quite a few different lawmakers and judges, that they feel like he's overstepped. If he does something to overstep here, it will set a whole new precedent of what the president's reach actually is when it comes down to commander in chief. Now, the National
Right.
Guard belongs to the state. So we're going to get into a situation where, you know, it's not a national disaster, so we don't need to enact any, you know, federal.
There you go.
Because, you know, things can escalate very quickly. You know, as we saw with going back to Hurricane Katrina. You know what I'm saying? Just on the tail end of, you know, the 20-year anniversary of that, when they brought in, first it was a National Guard, then they brought in regular Army active duty troops from places Fort Bragg. And then a lot of misinformation made that whole situation a lot more chaotic. So with the type of security environment in a place like Chicago, you put some green suiters on the ground underneath federal command, we have a real ugly situation very quickly, because people gonna have to rewrite the Constitution or make some amendments or something. You know what I'm saying?
And see, right. Let me go ahead and dive in on this right here. Go ahead and put up what Jessica said right here. So she said, so many things he has done has been are unconstitutional. So Jessica, we have checks and balances in the U.S. government. Okay. So we're talking about the sharpest individuals in law, you know, and when it comes to law definition, things like this. So you have the English definition or English language, and then you have law language, you know. So these people are extremely sharp. If he did something unconstitutional, it would have been caught, would have been called out, and it would have been stopped. So the thing is that this is the game that he's kind of playing. It's a little bit dangerous because they're already accusing the man of being what is it? What is it? Word that I'm looking for. Authoritarian. Authoritarian. There you go. Thank you for backing me up on it. But an authoritarian. So he's they're already accusing him of being an authoritarian. So by him actually implementing the National Guard and putting the National Guard in Chicago, being that it's unconstitutional, would actually define him as that. It would then define him as that. So that's a dangerous game to play. And the Republican side, you got to think, you have MAGA on the Republicans and you have rhinos. They don't see eye to eye. MAGA is a little crazy. You know what I'm saying? Rhinos are Constitution nitpicks. Like if it's not abiding by the Constitution, you don't fucking do it. You know what I'm saying? So they themselves would call out Donald Trump for doing something like that. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is that I think everything is being followed the way that it's supposed to be followed. Like I said, this is a dangerous game that he's definitely playing. He would need permission from the governor. He would need permission from the mayor to actually bring in the National Guard for these issues, because at that point, I guess they could label it as some type of natural disaster. I don't know. I don't know exactly how they would do it. But from my understanding, from what I've been watching on CNN and Fox and MSNBC, they said that he would need the permission from the governor and the mayor, I guess more the governor, if anything, for that permission to bring those extra forces in. And is it to the point where they're okay with that? I don't know. I mean, you know, 75 shootings in 2 weeks, 20 bodies. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? That's definitely crazy.
Especially when you've been hearing the same numbers for over a decade. And I get it. I know that most of this stuff is probably occurring in an isolated area. But what it looks like on the national media scale is something else. And he cares about aesthetics. You know what I'm saying? He cares about what it looks like. Because when he has to go sit down and talk to other world leaders, and then somebody in France asking him about Chicago, he's like, this is embarrassing for him. You know what I'm saying? Because you ain't seeing, and I'm not saying it's not happening in other countries. I know it is. In places like West Britain, there's parts of Paris that are just as dangerous. You know what I'm saying? And these other places still do the cleanups too. And then the other thing is too, with the Olympics coming in 2028, he's doing this sweep now. You know what I'm saying? Because LA is definitely going to get some more attention yet again. He's going to clean that place up, but he's going to he's going to at least get the conversation in the media that says they're doing the right thing by beautifying, you know what I'm saying, the United States. and you know what I'm saying, in anticipation of an influx of people coming to the United States for the Olympic Games, you know, because I'm gonna play an example of some of the stuff that's coming out of DC, because these are examples that we could easily be seeing in Chicago. So watch this.
Anyone disturbed by this video?
Black people in DC, get your and take care of them police officers like they should have been taken care of 50 years ago.
See, she's the type of person that you don't want in your circle. She is what we refer to as ghetto fatigue, but you love your community so much that you're trying to set them up for failure. Right. Go ahead and listen to that psycho if you want to. I'm still shocked at the fact that she had balls to get on the internet and tell people to do something that she wouldn't even do. She doesn't even realize that she's a part of the problem. You're just giving them more of a reason to go out there and enforce law and order. But seriously, did she really believe that the community would listen to her and sabotage their whole future because she's in her feelings? Yeah, she's definitely the problem to the solution. You know, the type to fight fire with fire and then act super shocked when you get burned. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm still shocked that she fixed her lips to say that. Come on now. But I'm gonna leave it at that because I know no one is crazy enough to follow her advice. Not even herself.
And see, that's what worries me. That's honestly what worries me. People like that who think, you know, ridiculously like that, you know, because let's say that he was able to take this thing to Chicago. Governor Pritzker, he says, okay, go ahead, bring him on in here, because Governor Pritzker at one point did say he wanted to bring in the National Guard. You are aware of that, correct?
Yep, you sure did.
Yeah. So he actually wanted to bring in the National Guard at one time. Donald Trump was not president at the time, but he did want to bring in the National Guard. So you have people like that woman that said, go out and that stupid stuff to the National Guard. And as you explained in the last podcast we had, the first time we were talking about this DC thing, I asked you how National Guard guardsmen and women were trained when it came to artillery, when it came to guns. You said the exact same as the Army, exact same as the Navy, exact same as the Marines. It's no different. You know what I'm saying?
He gonna shoot you.
Right. So you're talking about a little kid with a Glock with a switch that don't know how to shoot, comparatively speaking, with a person that's put thousands of rounds through an AR-15 or whatever type of guns you guys use, and these people know how to shoot. You would be fighting a guaranteed losing war. That's just stupid to say. That's just stupid to say. You know. Go ahead, man.
And so I always care about what's going on the ground. What do the people say when, you know, everybody else is talking, and, you know, like, how do the residents feel about what's taking place on the ground? And I found this video.
You guys two different videos and tell me what the difference is from both of those videos. Now this is video 2.
I don't know if I should be saying this on the internet, but as someone who lives in DC, people in DC do not really care that Trump deployed the National Guard. Most people are quiet, or like, or literally like, thank God.
Hey, a young lady was shot over on 15th Street in Northeast DC. Does that seem like crime gone down?
They weren't arresting just the homeless people. They could have came by and taken the homeless people off like the news has been saying, but no, they arrested the guy that was selling the drugs to the homeless people. Have they came by and tried to take you guys off the streets? They've been respectful. They've been respectful. They have not been Wow, that's good to hear, because they just took off a drug dealer from the streets.
That's all they want. All they want is the drug dealers off the street and the people who die. That's all they want. They don't want. They're not trying to fuck with the homeless. They want the drug dealers and the guns off the street.
Yeah.
You can't tell everybody that, but they all they want to.
And after those fake activists finish doing all their little protests, destroying the fucking city, they're going to migrate right back to their safe communities and act like nothing's happening. Whenever you listen to the people who actually live in Washington, D.C., and the community that this stuff is happening in, they're telling you how happy they are that President Trump is actually doing something for the American people. Never understood what their hatred is against Donald Trump. Like, it doesn't make no fucking sense. 3-year-old child lost her life in some senseless violence. The first thing President Trump said is, hey, we gotta make sure we clean up these streets of Washington, D.C. because, one, President Trump lives in Washington, D.C. Like, bro, the White House is literally in Washington, D.C. And then you have all the liberal creators coming on here talking about, oh, he's doing that because he want to get rid of black folks. He hates black people this, black people that, blah, 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 all this extra shit. The toddler that died was a little black girl. Prayers go out to her family. Kids are the ones that's supposed to be burying you, not the other way around. It's crazy, baby girl only really had 3 years of life and she didn't even get time to grow up, make friends, go to school, all that other fun stuff that you do as a child. Like, bro, that shit is sickening. And something that's very ironic about the situation is the first time they ever set up their little protest, just a mile away, somebody got shot and killed. 2 of the protesters got mugged whenever they were leaving the protest. So at the end of the day, what are you protesting about? I just feel like this whole thing is so fucking performative, man.
Yeah, bro. And he's right. And he's right. Here's the thing. Let me break this down to you, Vic. So how many times have you been to DC?
I've been there about 6 times.
Okay, 6 times. Okay, I've been a lot more times than you have. I got personal friends that live in DC. I've stayed in DC for weeks at a time. So at the end of the day, I know what DC looks like. And people think that the White House is here and the crime is like way away. It's right down the damn street, man. Like literally right down the damn street.
Avenue is outside.
Right.
You know?
Right. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, like people who have never been to DC, or I would say people who have never been to DC without coming here just to look at the monuments, people who have never stayed in the heart of DC don't understand what DC is. They don't understand the ins and outs of DC. So I see why the actual citizens of DC are speaking out against this stuff. Like, yo, yeah, the president lives here. You know, your Congress, a lot of them live here, or Northern Virginia, the Senate, they live here. It's a whole lot of important people living here or going in and out of DC. So the thing is that our most important people, our people who make the laws, live here. So you have to make sure that this place is safe, not just for them though, but also safe for the residents to live here, because we have to understand. Right. We have to understand that DC is Chocolate City. At one time, DC Black people represented 70% of DC. 70% of DC. I think it's dropped down almost like 50 now, but still an impressive number for Black people. So think about all the Black people who have homes here, who have bought real estate here. What happens when the crime rate goes down? All those people who own homes in DC, who own real estate in DC, those values go through the damn roof. So it's helping them in that way too. But I'm not just looking at the real estate part of it. I'm looking at what this brother said too. You know, there's a 3-year-old that got shot and killed. Oh, that's crazy. That's insane. You know, so I can understand why the residents of DC are okay with this. I would want to, if I want to, come out of my house or come out of my crib, go down to the corner store, give me some chicken wings and some damn potato wedges, come on back home without the threat of somebody blowing my damn head off. So I get it.
Man, look, I pay attention to the reactions, man, you know, because it's really easy to get caught up in some recycled narratives without context. And most people don't have, you know, a few seconds to digest what they're hearing, and they're not going to care about doing any type of research to verify, confirm, deny, whatever, you know. And plus, imagine the people that don't know anybody that lives in DC.
Right.
And don't even know anybody that represents the demographic that's the most impacted. And you know, they don't have a picture of it. It's a very diverse place in terms of your security apparatus. There's a lot of Black cops that work in DC.
Yeah,
there's quite a few. And then DC is very affluent, very Black affluent. You know what I'm saying? The whole DMV area, you know. So
yeah,
you know, conclaves of Black people live in that area, you know. So who is supposed to listen to? The people that just don't like Donald Trump, or the people that have to live there every day? And I think that's one of the things that social media has given us windows to, is the people that just want to be disagreeable, that basically really practicing listening to respond.
Right.
Looking at something they don't like and playing confirmation bias and completely deflected, you know, behaving in a way that they wouldn't accept from their own kids. You wouldn't let your do something just because they saw something on TV. You would say, hey, that's not reality. You need to pay attention. You need to understand that some of this stuff is entertainment. You can learn from entertainment, but that's not the absolute truth. But if you only listen to people that only care about validating the way that they express themselves, and nobody follows up on it, 10 years from now, somebody gonna say, I remember when Donald Trump was such a racist that he used the National Guard to clean out all the black people. You know what I'm saying? But forget the part where black people were the ones that was leading the complaints because they lived there. So the majority, I haven't seen a demographic of people outside of black people that's complaining or celebrating or praising or having an opinion more than black people, because they obviously occupy the areas where most of this stuff takes place.
Right.
So
well, it'll be southeast and northwest Washington. Washington D.C. is where those places will be, and you are correct. Black people occupy most of those places. So, from the people that I've spoke to that I know in D.C. in that area, or who've grown up in that area, or who still live in that area, for the most part, they all are saying the same thing. Okay, we're okay with it. They're not bothering us. They're not so-called over policing. They're not just pulling people over just for nothing. They're actually, like the homeless person said, they're actually looking for the bad actors is what they're looking for, because they already know who the bad actors are for the most part. So they already know that. It's like I was explaining to a brother the other day. I said, he had made the comment, I was around in this city selling dope and I outsmarted the cops, man, and they just couldn't catch up with us. I said to that brother, I said, that's not a thing now. Reason being is because we have AI technology now. We have cameras that are hooked to AI, and at the end of the day, they're reading how many times they see your license plate go through a certain area. They're reading
all kind of cameras,
bro.
Man.
Bruh, you ain't gotta tell me. I know I've gotten what 3 tickets in the last, I think, want to say 10 times I've been there. So yeah, it's they all over the place. So at the end of the day, those cameras can pretty much detect who's moving where at one time. So the thing is, there's no more outsmarting police. If you're a dope boy, you've been a dope boy for 5 years in DC, and you've never been caught, nigga, you are the police. you are literally the police. I tell people this: when I went to the cannabis festival in DC, and that was about a month ago, and I saw the helicopters in the sky. If you saw the movement of the spotlight is completely AI controlled now, because it's precision based. It's like it's not a spotlight controlled by a human. That motherfucker knows what it's trying to find.
Guarantee you this: it's running off of FLIR technology. And acoustics, and is listening for certain audio. Like, there are cameras out there that are sound sensitive that pick up gunshots above a certain decibel.
Yes.
And then the camera and the camera and the light will fix right on you. You're not doing what you think you're doing out here. Like, there's a lot of technology that's been invested in and this technology ain't even new. This is old. Now they're just starting to modify it and put it in places where it's, most effective in doing this thing. So
right.
Like
because what that could be, before you go on to the next part, what that could be is what you're talking about, like a parabolic mic. And so I'm familiar with audio, so a parabolic mic is the same thing that they use on in NFL games. A lot of people watching the Eagles and Cowboys right now, but it's a guy or girl sitting on or a man or a woman sitting on the sideline with this. You seen them, big ass looking satellites with a mic in the middle. Right. right. So just think about our government and what they have, and what they have on a helicopter, bro. Like you said, they're hearing gunshots, and this thing is picking that up, and AI is like, yo, it's right here, or it's right here. So it's shining
over the rollerblades, over the sound,
over the rollerblades. Because what this mic does, this parabolic mic, is it kills everything behind it. It kills every sound behind it, and it only concentrates what's in front of it. So you are correct in saying that. Definitely. What did Jessica say right here? She said, so controversial. She be on it, man. She be on it for sure. So what'd she say?
I was
so controversial. She said, so controversial. Why didn't the Obama administration help Chicago in the same way Trump is trying? So you will always hear the excuse of Obama was a black president, so he could do nothing that Trump is doing. And this is the reason why I hate that excuse. The president is the president. Nobody is going to kill the president. Nobody is going to assassinate it. JFK was the last president that you were going to see assassinated. Okay. Now they got close to Reagan, didn't complete the job. They got close to Trump, didn't complete the job. Yeah. But Trump wasn't the president at the time. Yep. But JFK, right. It was close, but JFK was probably the last president that you will ever see be assassinated. So the thing is, I don't like to hear that excuse. Obama was protected, not just by the government that's supposed to protect him, but he was also protected by the fact that if he did get shot, the government knew that they were going to have hell to pay in the streets. We're talking about hundreds of billions of dollars worth of damage to major cities that black people would have caused just because we saw that happen. So he was protected by that as well. So the thing is that we have to stop using that excuse and saying, well, he was a black president. No, the thing is that he just didn't approach it this way. He didn't push it. And see, Jessica, I like that you said this. And that's the reason why I wanted this comment to come up. This is what Donald Trump has done for this country. I am not a Trump fan. Do not get it twisted. A lot of people think I'm a Trump fan. I'm not a Trump fan. Some of the things he does is ridiculous. But this is the thing. He is not a politician. He don't know how to play the game, y'all. He don't. So now all the cards are showing. The government's hands are showing. So we know exactly what they are capable of doing. We know exactly what they're capable of doing. So like I said, next round for Democrats, no excuses. No excuses.
Yeah, man. Look, there's I think Trump's presidency showed or confirmed is it a lack of will or lack of resources? That's what we should look at. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And who's invested in who has the most to lose by, I guess, restricting the way that he wields his power. You know what I'm saying? Who has the most to gain or lose by the way that the president chooses to enact and act on his authority? You know what I'm saying? Regardless of who's in office. And these are situations that aren't new. They've persisted for quite some time, and it's old. And I think a lot of I think Trump also knows how to work the media way differently.
Yes, it's different.
He got all this Epstein stuff going on. He said, "Look over here, I blew up a boat in Venezuela."
and did you have a video to show? Because I want to go to that Epstein thing. Now that you said that.
Oh, well, I got, before I get to the Epstein thing, I want one more take on the DC thing, and then I'm probably pull up the boat situation.
Okay, gotcha.
About the situation going on with the National Guard in D.C.
Hey, so I just want to let you guys know that about a month ago, Trump supporters said that it was absolutely ridiculous that people think that the President of the United States of America would enact martial law anywhere in the United States of America. As of today, Donald Trump has announced that he is going to enact martial law in the city of Washington.
A lot of y'all black men are bitching and crying. Talking about they trying to lock niggas up. They trying to lock niggas up.
Oh my God. What the Oh, they really hopping out. Oh, it's real.
Here's the thing. Maybe if a lot of y'all will man the fuck up, a lot of your little YNs, a lot of you gang members, if y'all will man the fuck up and stop killing each other and maybe start protecting your own communities, National Guard would need to come there. Because see, that's what they used to do back in the day when it was segregated. They used to protect their communities. They had to. They didn't have a fucking choice. White sheets with the cone hats was coming in their community, protected their people. Y'all motherfuckers are the hunters. Grandmas and the mammas and the aunties and the little kids, they the damn prey. KKK don't gotta come in the neighborhoods no more. They ain't gotta be the ones to come in the hood. A lot of you niggas is the KKK. Taking y'all own people out. Y'all taking y'all own army out. And y'all don't even see it. Don't get mad because now all of a sudden that some order is being put on your cities. Hell, I wish he'd bring it to Indiana. Seriously. Maybe we could get our communities back. Maybe kids would be able to sit outside and play and not have to worry about them getting struck by a bullet. Maybe our elders will be able to sit outside and enjoy some country time lemonade or some iced tea and not have to worry about YNs shooting at each other. National Guard is necessary because a lot of you men failed your community. Y'all want to fight over blocks that y'all don't own shit on. Don't get mad at Trump. Don't get mad at the National Guard. Get mad at yourself.
Shots fired. Gospel. Right. So, and she's absolutely right. And if you notice, a lot of these people that are talking about bro, and if you notice, a lot of people that are talking about this are Black women. They feel unprotected at this point, and yeah, we've let them down. And there's no denying it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we've let them down. At the end of the day, like, Black people have not taken our position and said, okay, enough is enough. It is what it is. We got to take care of this issue that we having right here. You know what I'm saying? We out here, I guess, doing whatever, chasing the bag, chasing pussy, doing whatever we doing. But at the end of the day, we're not taking care of home. We're not taking care of community. First thing we want to do is, when we get a little bit of money, we want to go ahead and get the hell out of the community, so we don't have to worry about it no more. We're just going to leave the rest of them back there. You know what I'm saying? We want to go ahead and live where we want to live, which, understandably, if you're successful, you become successful, you worked hard for it, and you want a peaceful environment, I get it. But at the end of the day, you know, if you're from that environment or you're from the place, do your best to reach back and try to make it back to what it was when you grew up in it. You know what I'm saying? So I get exactly what she's saying when it comes to that, man. I don't see anything wrong with what she said.
Man, look, I think that it's just hard conversations all the way around. Like the other day, I wrote something that's, I think the pendulum is swinging. And for the longest time, in the last 5 years of this whole gender conflict, we've been pointing the fingers at who's at fault. You know what I'm saying? Here and there. And every time you look up, every year or every 6 months, the pendulum swings back the other way at some point. You know, we've talked about, like, okay, what was we could talk about all of the conditions, the systemic conditions that created these environments to begin with, and we know it was irresponsible parents, do whatever in the street. You know what I'm saying? It was, and that ran amok. That's why she mentioned the YN situation, right? It was the other video where the guy was mentioning, you know, like the 3-year-old getting struck by a stray bullet, all of the drug dealers getting locked up and everything. These aren't new. This ain't news, and that's kind of sad that it's not news. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's become the norm. We've been so desensitized to it that it looks strange and offensive that when people decide to clean up, like, hey, why we tired of the place looking the way that it is, and now people getting offended that they're cleaning it up, you know, and it's
the crazy shit about it, right?
That's how powerful dysfunction is. It becomes normal, and people are really, really, really comfortable in chaos, and they get offended, saying, like, you ever been over somebody's house and the house was dirty, and then they get offended because you don't want anything to do with the house because the house is dirty?
You want something to eat? Nah, I'm good.
They don't know their house dirty. You ever been around somebody that was musty, and then they don't know that they musty, and then you say something like, hey, you know, what's up with this degree right here? You know what I'm saying? Or this
right.
Whatever. You want some Old Spice, my boy? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Trying to say I'm musty? I'm not trying to say you musty, but your t-shirts do. You know what I'm saying? Your t-shirts. Right. That's, you turn the place into an armpit, and then and now perfume smell funny, cologne smell funny. You know what I'm saying? Because it don't stink enough. You know, and now when people start to do something about it, now we're split again. And so with her highlighting the men that have failed their communities because they're participating in all of the nonsense, whatever, it made me think the other day, and I wrote down, I made a statement. I said, this is going to be offensive, but it's necessary to say because we got to take our medicine, right? And as far as like the women are concerned, you know, I've been a proponent of we need to get off the women. we only talk about their behavior so men can say, hey man, you don't have to participate with these particular women. So don't give them any more of your attention. Don't invest anymore in people that don't respect you. So like now the pendulum is swung back to the men. And I wrote this. I said, you street niggas ain't nothing but baddies with no daddies. You ain't no different than the women that you complain about and reproduce with. You communicate with the same sign language like the women that used to call Kevin Samuels. You don't want to take any guidance from anybody else. Everything that you believe everyone else is supposed to do costs everybody else money without you putting up no sacrifice, not holding anybody in your demographic accountable, not dealing with the people that reflect your way of living and your way of thinking, and you validate women's opinions like the lady that just came up on the that I just put up on the screen, who said, you're supposed to be the protectors in your own community. You're supposed to be the folks that keep the old people and the babies safe, but you're too busy making the environment unsafe. You're doing the work of your ops. You are your own ops at this point. So y'all ain't no different. Y'all just some male sexy reds. And all you're going to do is get offended. But ain't nobody ever said, let me go see what the street niggas think about this. And let me go get a blessing from the street niggas to see if I'm doing the right thing. Nobody's saying that. Ain't no, like, they got a ceiling for who they can help. And until they have their own areas, nobody needs to rely on them for anything. You know what I'm saying? Because you're part of the reason why the situation is what it is. Now, I get it. You may not have created every single circumstance. Like I said, it's a lot of systemic things that's built into this conversation as well. But that's not a green light to finish off your own community. That's not a green light to keep kicking your own neighbors in their teeth with drugs, unnecessary violence. You're making the place unsafe for your own folks too, and justifying it is coon behavior at this point. We too much. We've seen the right thing. We've seen the wrong thing, you know, and you're making excuses for negligent behavior that you wouldn't accept from your own kids. I'm going to keep saying that. If you're using excuses that you wouldn't accept from your own children, it's probably wrong. If you have to find a way to justify the mediocrity of unnecessary violence and basically doing the same work as the oppressors that poisoned you in the first place, then we don't need you either. You ain't no different than the women that you complain about. You're useless based on your behavior. You can change your behavior though. You know what I'm saying? That's up to you. You got to decide what's more important: short-term fulfillment, or is it more important for you to spray the block up just so you know that they're there, or what? I don't know. I'm just talking about what it looks like, you know. And so you're right. So the disciplined women that can speak on that, and the disciplined men need to speak up about it too. The people that fit the worst behavior add no value, and they're not helping their kids. They're turning their children to cotton. You've turned your neighborhoods into cotton fields. The people that live there are the cotton, and they're going to scoop your people up, and they're going to lock them up, and you're going to end up being incarcerated. And the way contracts are set up, they're going to use that bed, what they charge the state for that bed, because they charge rent for that bed. They lease that bed that you get locked up in, and they go build the hotels and all of the other big real estate projects with your body. And then they still take you out your community, and you are just another man that's gone. Your earning potential is yet to be realized and used the way it should be used. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to say that, man. You know,
no, you broke it down. You broke it down quite eloquently. So I mean, that's the honest to God truth, man. Well, and I mean, you spoke nothing but facts.
We finna praise right now. You know what I'm saying?
Bruh, at the end of the day, man, you spoke nothing but the truth right there, man. And I mean, there's no denying it. There's no denying it. What she said and what you said, 100% true. 100% true. The very people who are supposed to be protecting the neighborhoods, who are supposed to be protecting the communities, are destroying the communities. So it is what it is, man. And if we as the righteous brothers or the good brothers don't speak up about it or don't act on it, and I told you this the other night, sometimes laws are in the way of good brothers because we don't want to get locked up. We don't want to go to jail, but we see these idiots sitting over here doing dumb shit and we want to remove them. We want to get them out of the way. It's kind of like what Jordan Bell said earlier. He was talking about, just imagine if they funded the FOI to come in there and clear, the craziness going on in black neighborhoods. That would be a wonderful thing. Yeah. But the law's got to get out of the way of that. The law is definitely, it's got to be like the Kyle Rittenhouse situation where that little white kid went up there and shot them folk and they set up.
Left, where did he leave from? Wisconsin to go do some,
wherever
he left from.
Vigilante work. Vigilante work, and they let him get away with it. So at the end of the day, if they really want to clear it up, let black men get away with, or righteous black men get away with vigilante work. Pretty much. I mean, that would clear out a whole lot of stuff, but at the end of the day, that's not going to happen. So unfortunately, we have to let the proper, law enforcement do what they do, and they're going to do what they're going to do. They're going to either lock your ass up or they're going to kill you, one or the other. So it is what it is.
And especially when you complain about the argument, I don't like faceless arguments.
Yeah.
I don't like when people say, well, I blame society. Well, society is made up of the people that live in society. So who has the most influence and who has the most control? We have to really be honest about that. And you can't blame the system if you keep doing stuff that makes your body available to be leased by the system. You know what I'm saying? I get that there's some, and I understand there's always going to be some people that get slip through the cracks at a higher rate than others, But I always say this, man, black men have no privilege. We are responsible for creating the privilege that we don't have. You know what I'm saying? And if we aren't accountable enough to have the conversation about what would it take to change the outcome from what we can control, not what we want other people to do for us. You know what I'm saying? And I know we want somebody to come down and hit a Thanos snap and make all of the systemic issues right. But none of this stuff is going to matter if you don't change your mindset and your behavior in the way that you treat each other. If you don't trust each other, you can't make money with each other. You can't be safe with each other. You can't do any of these things. You know what I'm saying? So ultimately, that level of ownership has to take place before we can even talk about how do we work together. You know what I'm saying? You have to change your individual perception and behavior and how you treat other people so you can give the kids that's around that neighborhood something to emulate. You know what I'm saying? Because whether they're your kids or not, they're still learning from you. They're learning about what you condone and what you don't say. And if we don't say anything, they're gonna grow up and say, I didn't know it was cool to speak out against something, And
right, absolutely.
Man, the man in uniform, the whole city full of men in uniform right now. You know what I'm saying? I talk about that all the time. If you can't control your behavior, the man in uniform gonna pull up on you. You know what I'm saying? Lock your ass up
plenty of times.
And give you a broke man's uniform, and you're gonna be in there with some other broke men. He's still gonna have to listen to another broke man in uniform, just like you. That's great.
Yeah. Well, man, it's been nice talking to you, man. It's about an hour now, so we're going to ahead and wrap it up.
Hey, and I'm gonna give you a silent video because we mentioned briefly about like the Epstein thing. I know that's gonna be a whole different conversation, but
yeah, let's talk about that next time we come in. Yeah.
But we go out though, a little silent film for the audience. So what you're watching is U.S. military forces take out a terrorist organization, Tren de Agua, at the direction of Donald Trump. They blow up a drug boat that is traveling from Venezuela, what they believe to be inbound to, probably the United States, more than likely, So I've never seen that. I've never seen that on national media. I know it happens, but That is crazy. That is not the norm. Okay, so
and we're gonna wrap this up, but I gotta say this.
Yeah,
I had some brothers on a post yesterday say, "Oh, they messing with the wrong people."
What?
Dog, that's the U.S. military. I need you to understand what the U.S. military is.
Man.
The U.S. military can't be defeated. Can't be.
No.
Understand that. Can't be.
No.
Damn sure not by Venezuela.
It will spend the money. You understand? Look.
that war would be over in 29 seconds. Do you understand me?
Hey, what Andre 3K said, he said, y'all ranting and raving about gas. Nigga, they made them gas. They got some shit that'll blow out our back from where they stay at.
Right, from where
That's
they stay at.
Where they stay
No,
at.
best believe, but that boat that got hit, that drone was not above that boat.
No.
You know, that drone was not above that boat. That thing was
at night.
Way away.
That was at night. And that was a heat signature, and they couldn't even hear what shot them. I guarantee you.
No, it came out of nowhere. They were sitting there singing songs in the boat. You know what I'm saying? La cucaracha, boom.
Straight shark food. You know what I'm saying?
Bruh, straight shark food, straight up. So I just want to tell folk, you know, before we get up out of here, man, don't ever think, and seriously, don't ever think the cartels can fuck with the U.S. military. Don't say nothing so ridiculous. No, no.
Don't tell nobody. Don't let nobody know how dumb you really are by telling them that. Okay. And we out.
And look, and Vic, before we go out, what branch did you serve in?
Oh, the Army.
So yeah, he might know a little something. All right.
All right, folks. Appreciate you sticking with me to the end. This has been another episode of Beyond the Algorithm. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Go get the book. And most importantly, I will see you beyond the algorithm. That's when life actually happens.